Hey, we're live, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the No Cover TV podcast. Look who's in the house today. Linda Marks is with us today. Linda, hi, Linda. We've got a lot of catching up with Linda because it's been almost 2 years or maybe more since we've chatted. She was
Mhm.
on this show, definitely. And that was when it was audio. That was back in the ancient days, audio. What's
Mhm.
audio, man?
Mhm.
And you can see that. You can hear that interview on Spotify. So go to Spotify and check out the No Cover TV shows there. And of course, here on YouTube and the Facebook channels too. So, and again, I thank each and every one of you out there. Thank you for checking out the No Cover TV podcast. And of course, back in the day when it was a TV show from 97 to 2014, we had a lot of great times and some weird stuff happens in the studio that you but anyways, it was a great time bringing out all the musicians and bands on it. Of course, I went to radio and then I came on podcast and you can't get rid of this ugly mug. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to get their story and their music out around the world like I always do. And that's what I do. I love to do this for the artist. Yes, because I was in their shoes at one time back in the 80s and 90s and it's hard work. It is definitely so, and you got to appreciate what they do, and we're going to get into a lot of that today and all kinds of great stuff. So usually I thank quite a few people on this show, but today I'm not going to go down that list. I'm going to thank one person today, a very special person that means a lot to me and has changed my world, and that would be my wife, Miss Denise. Thank you, sweetheart, for everything you've done for me throughout the years we've been together and holding my heart together along with your heart. Thank you and supporting the show and all the artists out there. So a big shout out to my wife, Miss Denise, out there. So, sweetheart, if you're awake, I love you because it's in the morning time where I'm at. So, anyways, next what I got to do is catch my breath because I'm getting older and I got to say my three favorite words. And I don't know if I did that, Linda, with you the last time, but here we go. Support these artists. Go to their shows. Pay a cover charge if there is one. They get right to the swag table. Load up with the duffel
Mhm.
bag. You know, if you got a backpack, stuff it. Get the CD and album, T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, glasses, keychains, bumper stickers, posters. Just get it all. Okay, just whole table into the bag. There you go. Then get out to that floor and enjoy the show. Okay, see if you can stick around afterwards. Meet these wonderful artists. Get an autograph. I still believe in autographs. It's a great thing once all your stuff is signed because you met them. It's right there. You always remember that time right there. And remember, these artists love doing what they're doing to put a smile on your face. And your smile kicks right back to them and puts a big old grin and smile on the artist's face. And I believe that music makes the world go around. Yes,
Mhm.
indeed. So, in the house, the fabulous award-winning winner, singer, songwriter Linda Marks. It's so wonderful to have you in the house today, Linda. Hello.
Thank you, Al. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and I'm envious that you're in Thailand and I'm in snowy Boston. So,
Snowy Boston, okay. Yeah. Well, we were talking before we started. America got hit very hard this year,
mhm.
and I feel bad because it really hurt a lot of people, definitely, without power and things like that. And ouch, yes. So definitely, I wish I could send all the sunshine that way. So
Mhm.
anyway, so Linda, how are you doing? It's been a couple of years since we chatted,
Yeah.
and you're looking very well. You're doing
Thank
good. You're
you.
busy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is a very exciting time because my 16th studio album, Queen of the Angels, comes out on Friday.
There it is.
So I'm doing lots of things to try to get the album out into the world. And the funny thing is, as a singer-songwriter, it's about a 2-year cycle from when I start writing material for an
Okay.
album to when it hits the world. So
Sure.
I wrote all the material for my 2027 album. That will be my 17th studio album, and that is going to start its recording process on Monday. With
Oh boy.
this album here, I did with Justine Blazer in Nashville. She's a phenomenal producer. I
Justine, got to
really
give you
love
props.
working with her, and having a woman producer is really exciting. And I'm working with her again on the 2027 album. So
Right.
I wrote all the songs, I put together all the foundational tracks, the reference tracks of piano and vocal that go to her, and then her studio musicians do those
Right.
foundational tracks. It's the whole building process. So
Oh
in
yeah.
terms of what I'm up to, besides that I'm up to getting this album out, I'm starting to do the work so that in a year I could be sitting here again with another album.
Right on. I mean, think about this. This is your 16th album.
Yes.
16. I mean, bravo. I mean, pats on the back all the way. I mean, that's incredible. You have to be very proud of yourself. I mean, that is a lot of work to do that, folks, to
Oh,
put out
it's a lot of
16
work, and it's being on a
albums.
payment plan for forever, for
Right.
the rest of my life. It's like having, basically, it's having a second mortgage.
Mortgage. I was just gonna say it's like a car payment or second mortgage, right?
It's more like a mortgage than a car payment.
More
A
like
car
a
payment
mortgage,
is very
right?
small compared to what the it costs to do an album.
Right on.
Yeah.
I do understand that. Oh my goodness, Linda. Okay, but what I want to do, Linda, before we start talking about all
Hmm.
the great music and everything musical, I don't know if I did this last time because I can't remember 2 years ago really.
Hmm.
But I want to tell I want you to talk to the people. We want to get to know Linda Marks, okay? So Linda, we're gonna go back in time. We gotta go way back. I mean, because you started very young. Okay,
Hmm.
so let's bring you back to when you were a wee little one. Okay,
Hmm.
7, 8, 10 years old. Okay, now I mean, you're just starting out listening to what your parents and grandparents, maybe aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters are listening to on the phonograph or 8 tracks or whatever they got. What were they listening to that you kind of grabbed onto and liked as far as music?
That's a harder thing, because if we want to take me back, we have to take me back to being a toddler, because
Oh,
music, I didn't talk till I was 3.
okay.
But even as a very small child, I would magnetically be drawn towards pianos and start writing music. So
Really?
I
Wow.
always had music inside of me, and I can certainly talk about things that influenced me along the way.
Sure, sure.
But the most foundational thing was that music was my first language, and it's
There
my
you go.
native language. So
Right,
if you
right.
want to get me young, you get, a little toddler toddling around,
Toddler,
and
right?
yeah,
The keys on the
yeah, I
piano.
literally going to the piano and figuring stuff out. And we didn't have a piano at my house, so everywhere I went, I'd automatically look for one.
Really,
And
really, right.
so yeah, so there's a whole story of the little girl and her journey, to get her own
Oh,
piano, which was the title
lovely.
song of my 2025 album, The Silence of the Stars. But if we look towards, music in my house, um, my father it's interesting. My father and my mother sort of played different things. My
Okay.
mother would play Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass.
Oh
My
yes.
mother, yeah.
I
My
love it.
father
I
would
love
play
it.
the Beatles.
There we go.
Um, my mother also sort of dug into the folk tradition and would play Pete Seeger.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and even old records. She had a lot of old records. I think when they'd gotten their house, like it had one of those old record players in it
yeah, well,
with
yeah,
old
right.
records,
Yeah,
and she would pull
yes.
them out. So Burl Ives, Gene Ritchie,
Oh,
yeah, just old, old, old stuff from like forever ago.
forever,
That
right, right.
Yeah, but hey, it came with the house, so you might as well play them. So
Yeah,
there was
right.
all of that, and then I think I myself discovered Chuck Mangione. I don't know that either parent did that.
That's
And I
great.
discovered Broadway musicals, and
Ooh.
I also discovered Burt Bacharach and Hal David, and learned every single song out of that songbook because of Dionne Warwick, because I loved her. And when I
Right.
was a kid, also, that's when the songwriter era started with Carole King, and everyone
Yes,
always
yes.
compared me to her because I'm a piano
With
playing
the
singer
hair,
songwriter with curly blonde hair
right?
who started writing very young. I didn't
Right
marry someone like Jerry Goffin, but hey, so yeah, that
Jerry.
people like
That's funny.
Carole King and Gordon Lightfoot and James Taylor and
Oh,
Karl Labanoff and
mm,
Linda Ronstadt wasn't as much a singer songwriter, but she was in the same era.
right. Yes.
Jackson Brown, there are all those folks,
Oh,
and
wow.
so, when I was young, I listened to all of them, Paul Simon. So I was pretty eclectic in that,
Yeah.
anything from calypso music,
There you go. Heck
Harry
yes. Yes, yes.
Belafonte,
Oh, Harry, I love Harry Belafonte. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, you're bringing up like like you said, the big phonograph with all the albums in one side, the stereo. My grandmother had that, and I'd go through there, and of course, there's Engelbert Humperdinck and
Oh, and
Bobby
Tom Jones. Oh, I
Vinton,
love them too. Yeah,
yeah,
they
but
were
yeah, Bob,
heartthrobs.
Tom Jones, Bobby
Yeah,
Vinton, and all that good stuff. And
yeah.
of course, every night at 7 o'clock, I had to watch Lawrence Welk and stuff with Grandpa.
Lawrence Welk. Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it,
I know. It goes back to being a little kid and all the stuff
yeah,
that was there.
and that's like you. I attached myself to music at like a very early age, like you did, definitely. And I played every instrument. I tried them all. I played them all, and then I figured I'm going to be a rock and roller when I was a teenager.
Hmm.
Yeah, that worked out right. So, anyways, so you got a kind of a taste of everything. And you're over there little, just digging, playing around on the piano and scribbling out some notes or whatever you're doing in there. What age did you get your first piano?
I had to work and earn my own money to buy my own piano.
Sure, understand. Okay.
I first bought myself a nylon stringed area guitar when I was 11 because they cost less than pianos. In fact, it's right over there. It's
You
in
still
this
got it.
room.
High
I still
five.
have it. Yeah,
Right
it
on.
could make a
Great.
cameo appearance. And
I'd love to see
and
it.
don't ask me to play it because I would play like an 11, 12, or 13-year-old because when I was 13, I'd finally saved enough money to buy a piano. And when I was a little kid, that's when Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote were on TV.
Right on.
And Wile E. Coyote got everything from the Acme catalog. So when I was a little kid, I
Really?
found an Acme piano.
Did you really?
Yeah,
That's
and I figured, hey, if it's good enough for Wile E. Coyote, it will be good enough for me. And the Acme Piano Company had a Rika and Sons upright piano that was exactly the amount of money I'd saved up. So I
wow.
said, I'll take it. And
I'll
then I
take
walked
it.
downstairs and I told my parents, okay, I've saved the money. I've located the piano. I've put in the reservation. I'm 13 years old. I can't drive. Someone needs to drive me to the store so I can buy my piano. And by the way, I need somewhere to put it.
I need somewhere to put
Unfortunately,
it.
my father, who was always underwhelmed, if he was actually terrified of my passion for music, which is what the title song, The Silence of the Stars, of my
Right.
2025 album is all
Sure.
about. So his mantra was music is a waste of a good mind because he was terrified and would never be able to make a living as a musician, which is true,
Right.
but that's not, you don't, if a kid is showing that kind of passion, you don't squish it. You don't try to
No,
beat
no,
it
you
out of
don't do
them.
that. No.
All you
No,
do
no.
is basically break the spirit of your child, and it doesn't help because if my father had paid attention, the fact that as a little kid I worked hard and earned enough money at 11 to buy a guitar and at 13 to buy a piano, it says a little bit about my work ethic and my
Yeah.
practicality.
Right on.
So, that was, I've always been practical, but the hard thing is when you do that to your kid and it beats it out of them, then I have shame about my passion. And I've
Yeah.
actually had two chapters in my professional music life. My first was in my young life, and when I went to Yale undergraduate, I ended up majoring in music, even though I'm self taught and dyslexic. So I'm not someone who takes music and reads it. That's not my forte. I'm intuitive and I can feel out anything
Feel
and,
it.
and
Yeah.
sound
Yeah.
out anything. So I write from what I feel inside and I just can intuitively find it out. And because I did get a music degree with honors and distinction, I know about chords and I know some of that stuff, but that's what I do after I've already done something. It comes out of me and then I'm able to analyze it in a primordial way. And I have
Sure.
my local sound engineer, Doug Hammer, make all my charts for me so
There you
that I
go.
can give them to other people to play. So,
Very
anyhow,
natural. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I play from my heart and my finger. It goes to my fingers to the guitar, and what comes out, and then
yep.
I might write it, scratch it down a little bit, but usually it just stays in my head, and I never put it on paper. And maybe that's how it
Yeah.
works.
Well,
But
what I'll write down are song seeds for lyrics. Like
okay,
when I write at the piano. That's why, like, if I do a song, a co-write with people on Zoom who live in different places, I
right,
can work on the lyrics on Zoom, but I can't write music because I have to be at a piano to sound the
the
music out. I
chords,
might
yeah,
hear something or have an idea, but I have to have the piano to write the music on. And sometimes the music and the words come together. Sometimes it's one or the other in fragments. But, in essence, when I'm working on something, ever since they invented recorders on your phone, what I do is I just sing into my phone, I play into
yeah.
my phone,
There
and then
you
I
go.
scrawl little song seed ideas as lyrics. And actually, when I was very, very young, like if I was a teenager and I wanted to write something, I'd be out in the world and I'd just grab some scrap of paper, could be the back of an envelope, and
There
just
you
like
go.
write a few notes. And then I'd have all these scraps of paper, and at some time I'd go through and put them together. So
That's great. That's great. So, you get a piano at 13 with your own money, and I gotta want to think you kind of mastered it pretty fast. I mean, you were playing pretty good fast, weren't you?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm a singer, songwriter, pianist. People
Right.
that have studied and played classical piano have a whole different skill set that I don't
Well,
have.
true.
But relative to navigating the piano, writing on the piano, playing the piano, intuitively it was pretty easy. Plus I bought a chord chart for my
That
guitar,
helps.
so that helped me say, oh, so this is what it is on the guitar, this is what it is
R-
on the piano. And
There you
then
go.
all it takes is like sort of a basic amount, and then the piano is very easy because everything's in front of you. And once you realize that with chords, like, if you go up half a step, then everything goes up half a step. If you go up a step, everything goes up a step. If you
Yeah.
go up a third, everything goes up a third. So you know if I just do it without using my dyslexic brain that will mess me up, it's very intuitive and easy. Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing. I
Think
have to
about
use my intuition and my body and my heart, because if
it.
I put it up in my mind, it will be like the Russian roulette wheel of death on the Macintosh computer. And here's one of my kitties who wanted to make an
Hey,
appearance. This
hey,
is
hey,
Gracie.
hey, Gracie, how you doing? You're a superstar today, Gracie. How you doing? You want to co-host the show
Yeah.
with me? Because I need a break.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Oh, that's great. That's Gracie. So maybe we'll see some more of our kitties
You
sometime.
might. I know. One
For
one of my kitties,
yeah.
Max, had like jumped on here, but he didn't come up forward enough for me to have him say hello.
Probably because he knows I'm a dog person. I don't know, but
Nah.
anyways,
Hey, I had a dog too, so.
right, right. So, okay, so now you're jamming at the piano. Now, I'm thinking you probably did some things in school with the piano. Did you do any concerts or any vocal
Well,
things?
what I did in school, I always sang. I mean, that was my that was easier for me than talking. But although I was very shy, and that's a different thing. But
Yeah.
because I didn't have a piano, and all I kept saying is piano, 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 piano. When I was 3, there was an experimental recorder program at the Laundry School of Music, and it was free. That's a big operational word.
There we go. Yeah.
So my mom enrolled me in it because it was free, and she's like, "Hey, it's music." I had no interest in learning to play a recorder. It was like, forget it. But in spite of that, the program said I was gifted and talented, and I learned to play the recorder. Then, when I was in 3rd grade, there was a free Suzuki violin program in the school. So, of
Oh.
course, I was thrown into that, and I started to learn the violin, which, if someone had told me about fiddle music, I might have really liked it, because that's different than
Yeah, yeah, that's
classical
pretty cool.
violin.
Yeah. Right,
Yeah,
right.
and particularly that fiddle is more organic and intuitive, whereas with the classical you have to like read, which is not my forte.
Right.
So I did that, but it wasn't my thing. Then, as I was waiting for my piano, when I was in grammar school, they needed someone to be the drummer in the grammar school band. And I've always had a great sense of rhythm. I dance. So when I was the one they were looking at, that I took to, because
You're
there are
drumming
so many
too.
instruments when you're a percussionist,
Yeah.
and I had rhythm. And I love that part. I did everything from like snare drum and that kind of
That's
thing
great.
to all the like claves and bells to timpani, where you tune it. You have to like tune it in the middle of the song to get the right note. So
Right.
I like that. Xylophone, that's a cool instrument. So
Xylophones are
I
great. Yeah.
yeah, so I actually enjoyed being a girl drummer, but when I got my aria guitar, I was putting time in there, and when I finally got the piano, there was no looking back. However, my first publicly performed piece was my 8th grade graduation song. I wrote a song for my 8th grade class, and I played the guitar because I didn't have my piano yet. And everybody sang the chorus, and I sang the lead. So that was a really cool example of building
That
community through
was
music, even
right.
as a 12-year-old kid.
Wow, that's amazing, Linda. Great. Okay, well, let's move forward. Okay,
Hmm.
let's get to 18. Life hits us. It's like, uh-oh, we got to go to college, get a life, get a job, start a family. All this stuff is thrown on us. So, Linda, let's talk a little bit about what Linda pursued besides, because music is always in the forefront, I feel, with you.
Yes,
But
it absolutely. If you're going to ask me about 18, I'm going to be talking about music again.
right, exactly. But like I said, when we turn 18, we got to go out there and earn some money, because in the music business, we all know we don't make a whole lot of money to support the things we need unless we're very lucky. Okay, so Linda here, you've pursued some wonderful things in life, and knocking me off my socks. So I mean, wonderful things. You help people heal from their heart and soul. You're a psychotherapist. You've written books. You coach, singer songwriters. Uh, what don't you do? I mean, talk to me, Linda.
Well, things that dyslexic people shouldn't do. I don't drive trucks because I'd crash them, you know.
There we go.
There are
At least
certain
you're
things
honest.
that would use my brain in ways that it doesn't work. I don't do those things because I could be dangerous. So
Well, okay, we'll keep you away from the trucks and the heavy equipment.
exactly. Well, if it's physical labor, that I'm good at. But things where, oh, here's something I'm terrible at. Like if I have to get into a tight parking space where someone's saying right, left, this, that, the next, I am like totally lost because I can't follow right, left, this, that directions.
Oh no.
Um, but I've learned that if I shut my brain off and I just intuitively try to feel it out, I usually can do it.
Okay.
But I've gone to plenty of Red Sox games where there's a parking lot near Fenway Park and there are these men barking out, gruff orders about what to do, and I just
uh,
can't understand them. And then they scream at me, and I try to say, "Excuse me, I'm dyslexic. I can't do what you're telling
can't
me.
deal with this, right?
I can't do this." However, if you let me just feel it out in my own awkward way, I'll intuitively get my way into the space.
There you go. I'll do it my way. Exactly. I like that. Okay. Okay. So now, what? How did you get into being a psychotherapist? I mean, you got to have a big heart and a lot of passion to do what you do. Where did all that come from?
Well, that has a pretty deep story. I'll give you
Yeah.
the sort of the tiny version
Yeah,
because
give
I've
me a
I've been
short
on
version.
national TV for this
Hmm.
story, and it's in
Okay.
both of the books I published. But
Sure.
when I was a little girl, I was not your typical little girl. I was a very visionary little girl. And even though I was a shy introvert, I was a natural leader. And everybody saw that in me. So I was thrust into positions of leadership that people older than me did, not little kids did, because I
Right.
just intuitively knew what to do. And when I was smaller than most people are even aware of things going on, that's when Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, and Robert Kennedy were killed. I was very, very, very little. And it hit me like a ton of bricks because I identified with them. I was always the kind of leader that was about making the world a better place, about visionary leadership, about making a difference. And I was already doing that, as small as I was a combination of a shy kid who'd rather hang out with a dog than be with a group of people.
Yeah.
But when someone needed to do the leadership, I just knew how to do it. So it was devastating to see Martin Luther King,
Oh,
JFK, Robert Kennedy, and it seemed like it was like that because when you're really little, it's like
yeah.
everything's different than
It
when
just
you're
happens.
older.
Yeah, a little
And
faster. Yeah.
yeah, so I was afraid that if I fully used what I was here for, someone would kill me. And when I was 16, I always worked. I didn't wait till I was 18. I got my working papers when I was 14 and had two jobs.
Yeah.
Before that, I needed to get a piano before I was 13.
Right. Yeah.
I did everything I could. When I was too young to babysit, I'd mow lawns, I'd do lemonade stands, I'd paint rocks, I'd do anything I could to earn money. And
Right.
then when I was 14, I could get working papers and could have a job where
You could
someone
have
would
a
pay
real
me.
job. Yeah.
And I've always worked my entire life. I've never not worked. But
Right.
the bigger piece is I had two jobs when I was 16. One was at Fenway Park, which was a really cool job. And then the
Oh
second
yeah.
was
Yeah.
at an ice cream store in my neighborhood. And when I was taking public transportation, which is how I got into Boston to go to my Fenway Park job, and got off the public transportation late at night, which it's hard to imagine that a young girl would be allowed to go into Boston by herself and come back late at night, given how the world is today. Was walking down the street next to where my ice cream store job was, and a stranger came out of the shadows and he tried to rape and murder me. And it's quite a story, and I'm not going to tell every bit of it,
No, I
but
don't want you
but the
to.
bottom line is I had to make a choice for my life. I had to basically say to God, I want to live.
Right. Right. Yes.
And when I made the choice to live and commit to my mission, a little voice came through my heart that said to forgive this man who was beating me up pretty viciously, with my pocketbook strap around my neck. He called it his safety belt and his insurance. And when I said from my heart, without using my brain at all, I forgive you, he burst into tears and stopped beating me. And metaphorically, that was my first therapy client.
Wow. Wow.
That's
That's
my story of when
powerful.
God said I
That's
needed to be a heart centered body psychotherapist.
it's very powerful because we all go through a lot of different things, a lot of us, and it is hard to forgive. It really is sometimes. And for you to do that, that instant, that moment, wow. I mean,
But the thing is, I wasn't intellectually thinking about a concept called forgiveness. I was
right.
going inside to my heart, to my spirit, to my
Exactly.
soul, having committed to my deeper mission that I'd always
Right.
had a sense of as a child. And what my heart said was to forgive him. So that's what made me say it. I wasn't even thinking of what it meant. It's what my heart said. And because I said what I said from the heart, it went to his heart. And that's when he burst into tears and stopped beating me and said, he'd been in jail before. He'd done what he was doing to me to other women, and if he was ever put back in jail, he would put a gun to his head and kill himself. And sure enough, the way I got out of the story, because the man unloaded his angst, and there I was holding space like a therapist rather than like a potential crime statistic.
Right.
And once he'd unloaded it, he felt exposed and was ready to hit me like that. And a car came down the alley and he ran away.
Oh,
So I actually did end up working with the police to try to find him. I was 16. I went to college when I was 17 because I was always the young one.
okay.
Um, and the police actually did find somebody.
Oh,
And
good.
when I was 17 and a freshman at Yale, my parents sent me something from the paper saying that the man had tried to do it again a year later, and he had indeed gotten caught and he did kill himself.
Well, I have many things I could say, but I'll keep my opinions to myself. But I am just thankful that you are safe and sound and in one piece.
Thank
Yes.
you. Well,
Yes.
the amazing thing about it though is I had so much healing to do from that experience, from that trauma, and also from trauma that had happened in my home. I was set on a course of healing where I learned that my body knew things I didn't know, and to learn how to listen to my body and follow my heart was both my own path, but it was the foundation of the body of work that I developed and later turned into a school training therapist. I've taught at the university level, written books, given talks throughout Europe and the United States. But my mission and goal at that level has always been creating emotional safety in an unsafe world and helping people listen to their body and follow their hearts, because everything we need is inside of us, and if we can
Yes.
listen to the wealth of information, it gives us a sense of a compass, a sense of
Yeah.
timing, a sense of purpose. And the heart is a pharmacy. It makes all kinds of different neurotransmitters. That may not be the right word, but basically the heart compounds a whole bunch of chemicals in the body that are a
Hmm.
better pharmacy than anything you get from a pharmaceutical company.
Very
And if
much
we
so.
learn how to listen to our heart and follow our heart and take care of ourselves by listening to our body, we have an extraordinary capacity to both heal ourselves and be healing presences for other people.
I totally agree with you, Lynn. Definitely. I've been through a crappy past myself, from the upbringing
Mhm.
to what I told you about before we started and stuff. And I still have my difficult days, most definitely, and my nights are my worst. That's when things don't go
Mhm.
very well in my mind. Okay, and unfortunately, the outburst or waking up screaming and yelling. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But anyways, people, if something happens to you, you're in a bad situation, there are people out there that care, that do want to
Mhm.
help you, that will talk to you. Okay, Linda's one of them. I'm one of them. Okay, mental health is a serious,
Mhm.
serious illness, and nobody deserves it because it can really knock you. And I'm sorry to say, Linda, on your ass. I mean, I'm just gonna put it bluntly. We can knock
Mhm.
you right now, and you need to believe in yourself. Okay, I mean, I don't like to say the past is the past, today is today, and tomorrow is another day, but that is in reality what it is. You'll always have it in your mind and in your heart, but you got to learn where to put it and kind of protect it so you can move on and do the things you were supposed to do in life, like Linda and myself have done. Keep pushing forward, keep pushing through. You can do it. Love yourself and believe in yourself. Yes. So,
Right.
anyways, Linda, go on.
Yes, and mental health is one of the themes. I have a whole bunch of social impact songs. I'm known for writing social impact songs, but mental health is one of the themes that's been at the heart of many of my social impact songs for many, many years. And when, gun violence is just one example of the mental health crisis in our country, but there are so many examples of the mental health crisis in our country. And
Mm.
it's very, very, very important that we advocate for self care, self love, mental health,
Yes.
and even learn the tools it takes for those things. Because
Yeah.
sadly, no one in school gives a course on self care,
No,
on
they don't.
communication skills, on listening to your body and heart, on
Right.
healing from trauma, on how to have healthy relationships. I mean, all of these really important parts of being a human being, no one addresses them, and often a person is like holding it all inside and getting sick
Yeah.
mentally and physically
Physically,
until
yes.
such time that things crack, and maybe they'll find a good counselor or therapist or spiritual guide or community. There are a lot of different pathways, but
There are.
maybe someone will find their way there, but some people don't.
Very true, very true. And sometimes it is difficult to find that pathway, but
Hmm.
you can find it. Just don't give up on yourself. Please don't.
Absolutely.
Please don't. And that's why Linda does what she does. And that's why we're going to talk about her music now, because her music and what we talked about is a big influence in her music and her songs. And please don't leave the interview and go check out the music right now. You can do that after the interview, okay? But Linda's music is just incredible. You sent me some of the samples that are out on your new debut album. Was it Queen of the Angels? It is.
Hmm. Queen
You
of the Angels. Yep.
hold that back up for us, please. There it is,
Yeah.
people. And why don't you tell everybody out podcast land where they can get a hold of that and everything?
Well, if you want the gorgeous physical CD, you need to contact me personally, because in this world, people don't sell them anywhere else. And I just want to
Right.
give credit to Amaru, did my cover. He took the cover photo and he designed the entire
Bravo,
album. He
Amaru.
did a gorgeous job. He took the picture that's inside the album as well. And if I open
Wow.
this up, you can just see how
Oh,
beautiful it is
that's
on the
nice.
inside and on the outside. So to get a physical album, which is well worth it, get in touch with me. But if you want to listen to the digital version, it's being released on March 6th. The three lead songs were released ahead of the album. The first is called "You're Not Alone," which is a gorgeous duet that I did with Demetrius Nezis. I wrote a gorgeous vocal
Beautiful,
arrangement.
beautiful. Great job,
Gorgeous.
Demetrius. Both
Yeah.
of you collab.
Yeah.
That's
He's a
great.
sweetheart. I wrote that song specifically for us to do together. And it's
Right.
already won a lot of awards, even though the album is just coming out on the 6th. The second lead song is the title song, Queen of the Angels, which was written about the Los Angeles
Angeles fire.
wildfires. And
Wow.
I did a lot of research into the history of Los Angeles to write the song. So it has history of Los Angeles in it, and it's a
Oh
healing
wow.
song.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that song came out January 7th, which was the 1 year anniversary of the Los Angeles
The
wildfires, which is what
wildfires.
the song is about. And then the third lead song is the duet I did with Amaru called Motherless
Wow.
Daughters, Fatherless Sons, which is also very gorgeous and powerful and has also
Powerful.
won awards even before the album has come out. And I was really, really drawn for him to be my duet partner. It's again, the intuition is interesting. Like, I had the intuition about Demetris, the intuition about Amaru. And I did not know this, and he didn't necessarily reveal it to me until we were well into the process of making the song. I'm a motherless daughter with a fatherless son. Amaru is a fatherless son. So it's a motherless daughter and a fatherless son singing a song about motherless daughters and fatherless sons and the things that get passed down through the generations.
Wow. I listened to them all and I watched the videos and I liked with motherless daughters and fatherless sons is that Charisse did a little cameo in there.
Yeah, we had, yeah, that's a fun story how we made the video. Amaru, besides being a phenomenal musical artist
Oh
and
yeah.
visual artist, is also a filmmaker. He went to film school in LA. So he
Nice.
wanted to do the video for the song.
See.
And all three of us are members of the Recording Academy. So we were in LA for Grammy weekend. And after all of us performed at an event called Music Fuse that raises money for the Recording Academy's charity that helps artists, it's called Music Cares. Amaru had picked out a park in West Hollywood, which was near where we were performing. So we went over to the park and he recorded all kinds of scenes that he was going to use in the video. And
Okay.
Charisse was there helping. And part of what we also were doing is I wrote a song that Charisse and I are recording that will be on my 2027 album. That's a
Nice.
lullaby for a baby girl. And so we also shot some footage for that, but that hasn't been put together yet because that's down the road. But the
Right.
long and short of it is, Amaru said, "Hey, we might as well give you a cameo appearance
There
in
you
A
go.
Motherless
There
Daughters,
you go,
Fatherless
Sharice.
Sons." Yeah, which was so
That's
it was
perfect.
really fun.
And you've got, two wonderful artists joining you. I mean, Sharice didn't sing in that song, but I mean, she's, the
Yes.
top pop indie artist in India and stuff. And it's like, this is,
Yeah.
that was just beautiful. And it hits me too, because, I grew up without a father and my mother wasn't much, we won't even go there. But, anyways, I can relate to it. Well, pretty much all of your music.
Hmm.
Wow. So, and I think a lot of you out there can relate to Linda's music too, also. And we also, when we do hear other people's music and they write what comes from their heart and goes to your heart, you may interpret it just a little differently than way they are interpreting it for them. And Linda will be right back right here. We always get some internet problems sometimes because I'm a little ways away, but I think Linda might be able to hear me, but I don't see you, Linda. Can you hear me, Linda? So she popped off right for the second, but hopefully she'll pop right back on here. And, I love to talk to myself. I do a good job at that, don't I, folks? But we'll see. But what's going on with Linda? Let me grab my phone here. But, anyways, again, I want to thank each and every one of you for checking out the No Cover TV podcast. And we've already got the bunch of month of March booked out. So we are working on April. Definitely. So, Linda, are you there with me still? Can you hear me, Linda? Let's see. Still no hearing. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we can do here. I want to go ahead and text. I apologize, people, but let's see what we can do. Let's see. Okay, I'm just good. Oh, there you are. Hey, you popped right back on. But I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I got it. Wow, I'm hurt my neck. Ow. No, yeah, Linda, I can't hear you. Where's your mic? Turn. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. We gotta love it. You gotta love it when it's live, people. Oh, you should have seen it when it was in the TV days. And the drummers would follow the drums, and we'd have to pick them up and put together drums again. This is live, people. I mean, it was great. So don't ever miss a no cover TV show because you never know what's gonna happen. Linda, can you hear me? Wave if you can hear me. Okay. Now I can't hear you for some reason. I don't know if the mic setting went off, but if it doesn't work, if you can't figure it out, just get out and hit the link again and come back in. All right, let's try that. Okay, so we'll see how that works. That usually fixes things. So she's going to step out and she's going to pop right back in. That usually fixes everything. But hey, this is the day and age of the computers and not big robot cameras that we used to have to move. Oh my goodness. And that's why my shoulders hurt too. So, anyways, people, we got a lot of great bands coming on. I hope you've been checking out the rock bands, the metal bands, the death metal, and of course, all the great country artists out there and pop artists. Oh, yeah. You know, and I was thinking, I'm going to give a big shout out also to Julia Golden out there. She was out about a year ago, and she made it on The Voice. And Kelly Clarkson picked her, and she's. I told her she was going to go there, and she's going there. So keep your eye out on Julia Golden too. So we're waiting for Linda to try this back again. I know she couldn't get on her computer, so she's using her cell phone. So sometimes things get a little tricky when we're doing things online. And of course, you can always email me, or if you're watching, you can pop up a question and I might answer you. I might not. Hey, I might just take a nap. Can somebody want to take over for me? No, just kidding. So I hope you're all doing well. And again, send me your music, and I will get a hold of you. I've got a little list of all the emails I get. Sometimes it's hard to get right back to everybody, okay? But I am have you on my list. I will get you on. So I will start booking out April here, And then this week I will start getting a hold of all of you, and I have you written down. So we're just waiting for Linda to come back on it. And here she comes. All right, can you hear me, Linda? And I can't hear you though. Hmm. Volume up, down.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay. Yes.
I
Okay.
all right,
I'm
we did
sorry.
it.
Someone called my phone and it disconnected. That's what happened. And I hung up. I didn't like the minute it went on, I stopped it, but it
Right,
disconnected it anyhow. And even
right.
though when I came back, it said that my microphone was on, clearly it wasn't. So,
Well, right, yeah. That's I forget to mention that to people when you get a call, you're gonna get dropped. I forget
ah,
about it. Ah,
yeah,
that's a
that's why
good.
if only my computer could have done this, but but phones are sometimes very helpful, but then if somebody comes on and
Exactly.
interrupts with the technology.
Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, let's get back to music. We were talking about your
Yes.
music and stuff like that, and your collaborations with Demetrius Navarro,
And Amato, yes.
yes, and Sharice being in the video and
And
stuff.
Charisse as well. And Charisse and I did write a song specifically for her and I to do that's on my 2027 album called Always Whole. It's a really beautiful lullaby for a baby girl.
That's great. Now, I think I did mention before. I mean, you're working with Justine Blazer that produces
Yes.
your album. And you worked with her for quite some time, and I think mentioned last time that I used to work with her in the early 2000s. We're good friends, and that's what
Cool.
she was doing about doing pop. She wasn't even doing country yet, and she was in Michigan, and we did some shows while
Cool.
I did booked her casino show. She was on TV show and stuff, but it's funny how it's a full circle. I mean, she moved to Nashville, changed the country, and it was real proud of her as you and all the other artists out there. It's wonderful. So let's talk about going into Justine's studio because I know she's a very poignant person and likes
Mm-hmm.
everything perfect.
Yep.
Okay, and she does it all herself too, which is great. Self-taught. This woman's amazing. So, like I tell
She's
everybody out there,
amazing.
if you get in the music business, if you're just a guitar player, don't just be a guitar player. Learn the business, learn the board, learn a little of it all, so that helps you out in your career. So let's move on here, and that's what Justine did. So, anyways,
Absolutely.
you're working with Justine. So you go to her studio in Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
and how many days does it take for you guys to hang out and put this together?
Well, we're in two phases. We're in the foundational phase where we split my album. Half of my songs we go to Pentaveret Studio in Nashville, which
Okay.
has an all-star dream team of people: Smith Curry on pedal steel, Billy Justino on piano, Wes Little on
Yeah.
drums. There are lots of different players, and so they will do half of my foundational studio tracks, and then the other half are done with Justine's two in-house people, Lou Molich and Isaac Velasquez. And so that's the first phase. At the point that I've listened to the foundational tracks, then we put other people on. I have a whole network of people I've worked with for many albums, that live
Sure.
all over the place. It's very hard to play an album release because I'd have to bring people from all over the world
Right.
and
All
all
the
over the
world.
country to one place. Yeah.
Right.
So it's gotten harder to do that, but the blessing is with the technology, anyone anywhere can contribute to an album. So
That's pretty
so we I
cool.
have to get all the other people. And on Queen of the Angels, some of the people that were added to this album were on two tracks on You're Not Alone and Introvert. Rhonda Vincent, whose Grand Ole Opry royalty, played mandolin, and her fiddler Adam Haynes played on those two tracks, and they really do a fantastic job. Then
Oh yeah.
on one song, because I write funny songs too, and children's songs, there's one called Gardener's Lament, and people love it. That's a sad gardener's tale that's true. It's about my garden with a jackrabbit and a hedgehog
Oh
who ate
no.
all of my garden, every single bit of it. It's really cute. And Doug Hammer, my local sound engineer, and I made a really cute video about the jackrabbit and the hedgehog that's up on my YouTube channel, which is LSM HEART. That's my YouTube channel.
There you
And
go. Go
so
check that
anyhow,
out.
Ernie Gonzalez, who is in Nashville, he played accordion on that song, and it really makes the song.
That's pretty cute. Yeah,
It's
that's
really
pretty cute.
cute. And then there's a viola player named Gareth Campbell who played on it. My regular and long term amazing violinist Alice Hayson, who lives in Memphis, is on it. Michael G. Ronstadt, who lives in New Jersey, is a cellist I've worked with on many albums. He's on it. One of my songs
Wow.
I even produced here in Massachusetts with Doug Hammer and another Doug Kortler. They're both phenomenal sound engineers. And Doug is a piano composer. Doug Kortler has a studio where he works with mostly folk artists, but all kinds of artists, rock artists. So
Awesome.
my song "Hidden Bloodlines, Hidden Scar," I worked with the two of them here. That's about
Wow.
healing anti-Semitism, and a local clarinet player, Rayon Richards, played on it. Doug Kortler played accordion. He
Wow.
played all guitars. Doug Hammer played piano on that. I did the vocals. So that one we brought into Nashville, having produced it up here. So the process of putting it together has all these different pieces,
Oh, a
and
lot of
then
elements.
and
Yeah.
when basically when all the instruments are on the track, I go back to Nashville and then I do the vocals. And I
Okay, there
usually
you go.
do it in 2 days. I had early
Woo.
COVID in November of 2019, and I
Ah.
lost my voice entirely for 2 months,
Oh boy, oh boy.
entirely.
Jeez.
And then I had to work very, very hard. I work with a wonderful coach named Richard Slade, who's now in New York City. He and I actually went to college together, and I'm very grateful to him because I had to heal a very damaged voice and my lungs. And through his coaching, the quality of my voice is 100% back. Every
Beautiful.
year the stamina is a little bit better, but my voice will wear out from what was done from the COVID. So
Yeah.
I'm not a person who in one day can record 12 songs. My voice doesn't have that ability. So if I do it in 2 days and split it up, I usually can do it, but it's possible that it still may get worn, in which
Oh
case I
yeah,
might
yeah.
take something back to Boston and do it in Doug's studio so that they're like Justine, I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be really,
Right,
really good.
exactly. And I think most of us musicians want our music to be just like that. That's why me and my bandmates kick
Yes.
each other's butts all the time. But I got to mention rabbits because you brought it up. I didn't. Okay, but back in the '80s when I was in my band, we had a little incident with a rabbit. Okay, it scared the heck
Mm-hmm.
out of us, that little guy. But anyways, we turned
Mm-hmm.
around and we named him Rare. Rabbits are really evil. So I was gonna print a shirt up that said "rare" on it. Yeah, rabbits are really evil, and they are. Do not go near those rabbits; they will turn on you really quick.
Well, last night, this is a funny story. There was a really big cottontail bunny, and when I went out last night, we've had like God knows how many feet of snow. We've probably
Yeah,
had 4 or 5 feet of
right.
snow if you add it up across the winter, and probably, well, today it was warmer, so some of it melted, but I'd say 4 or 5 feet might have been piled in different places. And we had some more snow yesterday, followed with an ice storm, so everything was all slippery
Oh.
crunchy, and I had to take my barrels out. So I was going down my front steps very cautiously, and who was there trying to find plants buried under the snow but a really big cottontail bunny, and he wasn't afraid of me at all.
Oh, they're not. They're mean. I don't
No,
even
he
go
was
near
big. He
them.
wasn't mean. He just like stood his
Yeah.
ground. He wanted to chomp on the dinner that he was working hard to get under the snow to find. Because, hey, I was amazed he was that big when it's pretty hard to get plants when it's
Right.
a freezing winter. But he did. And he was
You got
chomping
it.
away and chopping away until I got close to him. And then finally he went into my driveway. And as I continued to go down the driveway, because I had to get my barrels out, he finally left, but he wanted dinner and I interrupted the
He was gonna
restaurant.
eat, right? That's great. Oh my goodness. Linda, I'm having a great time, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming back on the podcast. It's been
Thank
wonderful.
you. It's a total
It's
privilege.
we're at wow 50 minutes. We could do this for a couple hours just to catch it up. But I want to ask you a few more questions before we get out of here. Now, I
Hmm.
don't know if now you've been doing this a long time. What would you say was the biggest crowd you performed in front of?
That's an
Largest crowd.
interesting question. That's an interesting question. It's like I've never thought about it like that. That's a
Okay.
weird thing. I've never thought about it that way. I mean, there was a time I did it. This is interesting. I think the workshop was called Dancing with God, and That's the name of a song I wrote that's on this album that I did as a duet with Duncan Daniels, who's from Wisconsin. But I was with an author named Del Millers. We were both authors, and we did this service in front of 350 people, and I included performing music in front of it, the people there.
350.
I
Okay.
mean, I've been on television. You
Sure,
never know how
sure,
many
yeah,
people are in front of you there. During the
yeah.
pandemic, when I did live streams, at the
Sure.
beginning of the pandemic, Facebook would open them up so lots of people would
Yes.
find them. I'd sometimes have 2,500 people there.
Okay.
Then eventually, as the years went on, they closed it down, and you'd have 10 people there. And after a month, 1,000 people would have watched it in a month rather than
Right,
2,500 at the moment you were doing it.
your moment, yeah, yeah. Well, anyways, what I want to do is I want to take you back to the biggest show you've performed in front of 500,000 people, 10,000, whatever, how many people they were. I wanted you to go back to that show in your mind real quick here, okay? The piano's out on the stage. You get out there and you look out there. Oh, there's a lot of people. Let's get them going. So you hit it. You hit the notes. You start going. You start singing. People are going, oh, so they start moving towards that stage and they're loving it. And they're loving what they're hearing and they're clapping and they're loving it. And you might look out there and see some of them actually singing your songs back to you. If you see this, Linda, how's it hit you in your heart and make you feel?
Well, I liked I appreciate it. I always do sing along songs like that song about the jackrabbit and the hedgehog as an
There you go.
example. And 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 also some of my social impact songs, they also are songs that people sing back. But I really love having a big room of people united through music because I even, years ago I used to perform at Scullers Jazz Club, Boston's top jazz venue, because I've crossed over a lot of different genres. But to have the whole room full and have everyone in the room standing up, sometimes even holding hands, singing the chorus
Exactly.
of a
Yeah.
social impact song,
Nice.
the energy in the room changes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. Wow. And you don't forget any of those moments. I don't forget any
No.
moments when I was on stage, and it really hits your heart, definitely. No matter who you are, it hits you so definitely. So,
Yeah.
everybody, it does. Go ahead, Linda.
No, I've always believed music is the strongest force. It's a language that goes beyond any divide. It builds a bridge across all divides. Because it is a heart to heart language. It sort of doesn't matter what word language you speak. You
Yeah,
can feel it
you
because of
feel
the
it.
energy of the music, and it has the power to heal, to
Yes,
unite, to transform, to uplift, to inspire. It's very powerful, and
music
it's a real
is. Yeah.
privilege to be able to, in essence, work a room and bring that kind of energy
Bring
into
that.
a
Yeah.
room. And when I've done album release concerts, and I usually bring a full band with me to do them so that it's a really nice arrangement of the songs, there's always energy in the room. There's always
Yeah.
emotional connection in the room. There are always
Wow.
songs that people sing and join in on because I make it a point to share songs people can sing on, even if they're just
Yeah.
learning them for the first time. And by the end of the
Wonderful.
evening, it's like people have just been through a cleansing experience, an inspiring experience. And
Nice.
another thing besides having a group of people involved as a group, at the end of his show, anytime people come up to me and talk about how the song relates to something from their life or they tell me a story, I'm always moved by that. That's when I feel like something worked because someone is
Okay.
actually talking to me about something from their life.
Great. That is great. Linda, you are an amazing, wonderful human being with the biggest heart in the world. Thank you for what you do for the people out there and your music. Keep going because it's beautiful and the people out there, they need to hear it. They definitely need to hear
Thank
it.
you.
And so
Well,
does all.
it's one of the core threads of my purpose, and I was talking. I was staying with a special friend in Philly when I played in Philly this weekend, and both of us are musicians. In fact, I hung out with a number of my special musician friends there. I did a show with two special musician friends that was hosted by two special musician friends, and what, I was talking about with the person I stayed with is, people talk about retirement. Why would I retire? Like, to retire from being who I am, to
Right.
retire from creating, why would I
Yeah.
ever retire? And
Exactly.
and why would I also not want to help people heal? those both of those things are really meaningful. And of course, you need balance so that you can do all
Balance.
kinds of things with your
Yeah.
life, and of course, take care of yourself. But people who have the kind of job where they can't wait to retire because it isn't meaningful, it's just what they do. I'm very grateful that even though I have to have two careers, that both of them are really meaningful, and they're things that I'd want to do as long as I walk this earth and make a
That's
difference.
awesome. Great. And you're making a big difference and have made a big difference in everything you've done. Again, Linda, it's been wonderful to have you on. It's been great catching up. I can't wait to have you back on in 6 months, a year, see what's going on, and talk about the next new album, the
Yeah.
17th one coming
Yes.
out.
Absolutely.
And keep doing those wonderful videos, everybody. You got to go to YouTube and check her out on YouTube and stuff. And Linda, give them a big shout out where they can find your music and you and everything.
Yep. Well, my YouTube channel, which is my favorite place to send people because it's got all kinds of content, is LSMHEART. So LSM Heart. So it's youtube.com/LSM Heart. My website is lindamarksmusic.com. On Facebook, I have a Linda Marks Music page and a Linda Marks page. On Instagram, it's at LSM Heart. It's the same on Twitter, but I don't post on Twitter very often. I post sometimes on LinkedIn, and most of my music is on all the digital streaming platforms.
There
I
you go.
have copies of 15 of my 16 albums here with me where I live in Massachusetts. And if you would like one, and they're all beautiful, here's my 2024 album, A Recipe for Hope. And that, the albums chart, they win awards. They have wonderful
Really?
people involved with them. Get in touch with me. My email is lsmheart, surprise, at AOL.com. So lsmheart at AOL.com. I'm happy to talk with you. If you'd like
Yes.
to be on my newsletter list, you can let me know that. But I'm on all the digital platforms, and a lot of my music is there.
Wonderful. So go check out Linda, check out her music. And if you want to chat, you got something you need to get off your mind or heart, give her a holler or chat with me. But she's the professional. I'm not. I'm just Big L. Okay. So Linda, one more question before we get out of here.
Yes.
And this one's for the little ones out there, the youngsters. You got any advice for the kids out there that want to do what me and you do?
Yeah. Follow your heart. If you are attracted to music, if you enjoy music, if you love music, if you want to learn music, go for it
Do
and
it.
find people that are going to support you. One of the things I've done for the 5 years I've been a member of the Recording Academy is I participate in the Grammy U mentoring program. I've always mentored
Beautiful.
young
Wow.
up and coming musicians, even when I was a young up and coming musician. And it's really meaningful for someone who's been around for a while to help a person who's coming into the
Right.
business or growing in the business. So if you're young, find someone who's been in the music field, and whatever it is. It could be about songwriting. I mentor on songwriting. It
Yeah.
could be about self-care. It could be about voice. Might want to learn an instrument. You want to learn to arrange
Right.
or be a sound engineer. Find a person who does that and
Yes.
ask them if they'll mentor you, because I
Exactly.
feel like it's partially my duty to mentor up and coming artists. It's also
Yeah,
my
me too.
privilege to do that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. That's why No Cover TV is nonprofit, and if you have questions, I will answer 'em. That's what it's about. Whether it's business, music, or instruments. Yes, definitely. We're here to help you out, definitely, because it
Hmm.
is a hard business to be in, especially kind of this digital age. You got the AI going on, you got other things
Hmm.
going on, and yeah, there's a lot going on, and so it can just be a whirlwind of whatever out there. So yeah. So just believe in yourself and do your thing, definitely. So, Linda, this is your show. How would you like to end it? You got anybody out there you want to say thanks, hi to, or anything?
Gosh. Well, my son will never listen to this, but I would say hi to him. He's finished. He's working on a PhD in history, and tomorrow he takes his comprehensive for one of his
Oh,
courses. And after he finishes that course, he'll only have one more course before the comprehensives are over. But I want to
okay.
thank him because his
Yeah,
passion for history has sparked mine, and it's led me to do a lot more research when I write my songs.
there
So
you
I
go.
want to give a thank
Nice.
you to my son for that.
Nice, good deal. I love history myself too. History buff and science. I love it all. Ah, yes, indeed. All
Yep.
right, Linda. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming back. I was great seeing you and chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bless
so
your
much
heart.
for having me. It's a total
Yeah.
pleasure.
So, all right, people, we're gonna get out of here. Thank Linda for everyone. Check out her music. Go now and check out the music and watch the interview. Okay, and get her books. Do whatever. Just check out Linda because she's doing some amazing things. Oh yeah. And I got a question that popped up from Garrett Kirk, a great musician. Hey Garrett, how you doing? But he says, "Are you related to Paul Marx?"
I have no idea. There are a lot of Marxes, and the Marxes that I know are from actually, I've another historical thing is I've been looking into the genealogy, and
There you
you know
go.
the part of my family I know the most of is my paternal grandmother, and so the long and short of it is I have no idea if I'm related to Paul Marx or not, but
You're right.
probably not
Well,
through my great grandfather who I met.
right. All right. Thanks, Karen, for watching and popping up those questions. And we're all brothers and sisters. Let's just all get along, can we? All right. So, anyways, Linda Marks, thank you again. So let's just tell everybody, hey, hi, we're out of here. See you, everybody. Till next time. Bye. Thank you,
Yeah.
Linda.
Thank
Peace.
you.